intuitiveness of your power play, which really kind of struggled all night, and yet it comes up huge for you to get you to overtime.
Yeah, it was a game where I thought the puck was bouncing all over the place, and we certainly weren't sharp. They weren't sharp. After the first period, I thought we did a really good job holding them to, I think, 7 chances the remainder of the game. Power play struggled, but did come through when we needed it to.
What does that say about the resolve of your team to handle all the bad bounces and the late goals and the things that were not going your way, but still find a way to stay within their game?
Yeah. We talked about in between the second and third that we were right there. Although we give up 2 end-of-the-period goals, which you don't want to get in the habit of doing, the guys were still upbeat, and we knew we were still in the game. We're 1 shot away as far as tying it. So just stayed with it and found a way.
I know you hear this probably night in and night out anymore, but with Korpisalo, there was a stretch there. You guys were on your heels. I think they had a power play. He made like 3 or 4 saves. Just
first period, when he was the busiest, I mean, they could have scored 3 or 4. He made some great saves then. I thought we did a much better job in front of him the last 2 periods. I don't think we were that effective with the puck and moving the puck offensively, but I felt we checked well defensively. First period, he was outstanding. That's a key. He gave us a chance. That could have been, even though we scored 2, I mean, they had 4 or 5 10-bellers there in that first period. So that's a big part of the game as far as him giving us a chance.
What was the difference in the way you played that 3-on-3? Obviously, you lost the last 2 tonight. You were creating opportunities.
We didn't talk about anything about how you play the 3-on-3. We just play. Change, Mike did the same thing. Mike had a guy out there to try to win a face-off. He took him off. I had Jens out there to win a face-off. We took him off. We end up with first possession. Luke ends up with a breakaway right away. Cam ends up with a breakaway. You guys don't believe me. We don't go over what we do 3-on-3. That's their game. That's their instinctive go play. The only strategy that came in effect on my end was getting Jens out there for the face-off.
John Korpisalo comes in, gets the net after Bobrovsky leaves, and just wondering how you feel he's responded to that and how he's risen to that challenge.
He's been very good. He is a guy that the guys like playing in front of. He's been banged around the past few years, sitting there waiting for his opportunity. I think he's handled himself really well.
Do you think he might have taken it personally that people, thought that the sky was going to fall in after Bobrovsky left, and that
You'd have to ask him that.
Yeah,
you'd have to ask him that. I know he is a guy that doesn't pay too much attention about what the pundits are saying. I think our whole team's that way. I mean, we're supposed to suck this year. We're just going to worry about our own business and just take it day at a time.
Did you have that confidence in him, though, that he would be able to pick this up and take over?
Korpi has played really well with us when we've given him games in a row. Hasn't been many times when he's been sitting there as a backup, but the more he plays, the better he is. I don't know what we're going to be. I don't know what he's going to be. It's still so very early in the year. I'm certainly no coach. I'm not going to make a prediction on what happens, but I think he is. He's handled himself very well as far as preparing himself for the opportunity.
Pierre's goal, right in the second goal, the 2-0 goal, just takes Matthews on his back, puts it in the net. Just the power that he played with.
Yeah, he's been playing as a power forward for a number of games. He's been very good. He was one of the guys that he just seemed fresher than some of our other guys. Remember, this is our 4th game in 6 nights, and it's a tired team. I thought he had the right type of energy, and with him, he's just playing with a ton of confidence with the puck. He thinks he can beat people, and he's doing that, and also making some good plays along the way.
Penalties on that play. There was Marner may have covered the puck up. Were you hooked? Is that's what they basically said why you were getting it?
I didn't. I'm assuming. I don't know. I felt the hook when I got in there, but I don't know if that. I'm assuming that's why it was called. So.
How many penalty shots have you had like in overtime like that before?
I think that's my first one. I think so. So it felt nice to put that one in.
What was the move? What was your thought process going into that one?
Just try to see what was open and try to hit the spot, and it's nice to see it go in.
Gus, to have a game like that where you get the early lead and then it goes away and then you have to rally in the third period, a power play that hadn't gotten you anything until that third goal that ties the game, how good does it feel to come out of that one the way that you guys do tonight?
Yeah, that was big for I mean the game, but also our power play. You know, we need to get that going, and you know we haven't been good enough. So that's something we need to work on. But you know, it's nice to get that one in a big moment of the game, and hopefully that can kind of springboard us into getting it rolling here.
Would you agree with the power play, though? I mean, it seems like you've solved the entry. You get it in there. Now you're moving the puck around a little bit. It's just about finishing the shots.
Yeah, we're getting chances. That's how we feel, but also it doesn't show on the score sheet. So at some point, you know, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, we got to be better. So for sure, it was nice to get that one in the third.
Down 3-2 going to the third period. You guys played a really good third. I mean, this team seems to have a good resolve about it. What was kind of the message going out there, and do you think you really just did what you wanted to do in the third as far as the way you wanted to play?
No, I think it's the same as, you know, we've had throughout the season. We stick with it in here. We play the right way. We keep playing the right way. We don't want to, you know, open us up to go down more times. I think we learned a lesson in Pitt, what happens then, and just got to stay with it and play the right way. And it was nice to see it get paid off today.
Riley, you started the scoring here tonight, getting that first goal. Just tell me about that. On the penalty kill there, you go back, you kind of lift the stick and get it all started, and then Nick hit you with a pretty nice pass, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a great play all around. We've been talking about trying to get a little bit more up-ice pressure, so I was trying to engage as fast as possible, not let them get ahead of steam coming back up ice. So kind of presented the puck a little bit, saw an opening, got the puck. I thought Flea was going to shoot it, but I think he almost toe-picked or fell down, so he decided to pass it. And, tough angle shot. Those ones are a little nerve-wracking sometimes, so I was happy that it hit the back of the net.
You come out and you build a 2-0 lead there pretty quickly in the first period. You kind of take the crowd out of the game and then settled into your game for a while. But when they came back, and this is, you know, we've seen this with this team, that there is a resolve here. I mean, you didn't, even when you fell behind late second period going into the third, just kept at it. And, you know, how good is that to see, especially from young guys that are trying to learn this system?
Yeah, I think the lesson could be we could handle that first period a little bit better. You know, getting up 2-0 early. We have a power play, and they end up getting a shorty on us. I think handling that situation a little bit better. Just getting momentum off that power play and keeping it a 2-0 lead, and see how the rest of the period kind of plays out. But like you said, they came out a lot harder after we got up 2-0, and it was just nice to see the guys kind of band together. You know, they scored a late one again in the second period, which can really be dejecting, but it's nice to regroup. And, you know, I think we played all four lines for the most part. I know my line was out there with less than 2 minutes to go, and it's two young guys, so it's a lot of trust in them, and they did a really good job. So it's just nice to see top to bottom.
And you guys have played a lot of games here in a pretty short period of time early in the year. So, yeah, this was going to have to be a four-line effort. I'm sure you probably talked about that before the game today.
Yeah. You can't rely on your top guys every night. You gotta pitch in from the bottom too. So, you know, I got my first of the year. I think that was Gus's second of the year. So, it's nice to see a lot of guys contributing. Fliggy had a really good start there. He's got to check his skates. He toe-picked a couple times on some good chances. But you know, when we're getting chances like that, that's the key. And then hopefully we can start minimizing them in our own zone.
How big was the power play goal? Just to, number one, to kind of spark that part of the game, but number two, just to give you the confidence and get you back into a tie game, knowing that the last two games previous to that you had gotten into overtime.
Yeah, I don't know if that was our best showing on the power play for 40 minutes, but a lot of times it's not about how many goals you score on the power play, what your percentage is. You're going to come up with some key opportunities, and if you can cash in those key times, then it's huge. Late in the game, tying it up or going ahead, and those guys came through. It wasn't a pretty one, and hopefully we can use that and move forward and kind of get that recipe down and get some greasy ones.